Donald Trump, we know, is basically a Matryoshka doll? How do you say that? Of lies and mendacity. Basically, he'll lie, then he'll lie about lying, then he'll lie about lying about lying, and then he'll lie about lying about lying about lying. And that's
another, I'll call it interesting political story with you. There's an online video from a group whose members include George Conway. George Conway, of course, the husband of Kellyanne Conway, the president's counselor. They had put a video up on Twitter last night, and the president didn't like it. A little bit of the video.
There's mourning in America, and under the leadership of Donald Trump, our country is weaker and sicker and poorer.
That's a piece of the video. This is just one of many late-night tweets from the president. Their so-called Lincoln Project is a disgrace to Honest Abe. I don't know what Kellyanne did to her deranged loser of a husband, Moonface. The tweets go on. I'm not going to repeat all of the president's language.
I was offered the job of head of the Civil Division of the Department of Justice, and I filled out all the forms. They ran my background check, and I was interviewing people who were going to work underneath me. I was sort of far along there, and then I just started having this queasy feeling like I don't really want to work in this administration, because what I saw was a shit show.
A former Trump insider just delivered the most brutal takedown of the ex-president, and it's not who you'd expect. What he revealed left Trump's legacy in tatters. Stay with us to uncover the shocking reason this critic knows exactly where Trump's weaknesses lie, and why this could change everything in 2024. George Conway, the sharp-tongued lawyer married to Trump's former advisor Kellyanne Conway, just unleashed a live TV demolition of Donald Trump so devastating it left political analysts speechless. No shouting, no drama, just cold, hard facts. Conway, once considered for a top job in Trump's Justice Department, dissected Trump's lies, legal disasters, and crumbling...
Everybody overthinks this guy. There's no strategy. There is no thought. And the brand is just him. He lives in this world where there's just him. Okay?
But it's not just him, George. It's a hell of a lot of people out there who've gotten sucked up into this thing and that are perpetuating
I agree with
that brand.
I'm talking about in his mind.
Okay.
None of us matter. Those people don't matter. They're not real people. He doesn't care what happens to them. If they show him adulation and they do what his bidding, that's good. If they don't do his bidding, he will destroy them. He will discard them. None of us, in his mind, okay, he's someone, as a man with no empathy, a man with no conscience. It's just him.
So here's the rub. He doesn't think there's anybody else in the world other than him.
Right.
Because he is the world's ultimate narcissist. So in his universe, he is the only person, and he is certainly the only person that matters. We don't really exist. We are just sort of objects of, we're like
an empire with the precision of a surgeon. You think Trump's hit rock bottom? Think again, Conway said calmly, leaning into the camera. He's a Russian nesting doll of dishonesty. He'll lie, then lie about lying, then lie about lying about lying, until even he can't keep track. The takedown wasn't just about Trump's fibs. Conway, a lifelong conservative, painted Trump as a narcissistic sociopath trapped in his own delusional world. In Trump's mind, he's the sun, and the rest of us are just planets orbiting him. He has no empathy, no conscience. If you're not worshiping him, you're trash to be thrown out. From Legal Eagle to Trump's worst...
Lying, intimidating, bullying, that's Donald Trump at his worst, and that's Donald Trump always. And he's always going to find the one thing that he can do if there's a list of things that he cannot do and that he doesn't think he can get away with. And he has no compunction about it. I want to diagnose him, but I think if you look at the diagnostic criteria for narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder, he fits every single one of them. It's like the criteria were made to describe him. And I think what we saw with this tweet yesterday is that last final collapse of Donald Trump's mental state. I mean, you think about it. Those were like 50, 60, 70,000 people in the aggregate in five rallies in different states. That's loopier than saying that the moon landings were staged, because there were tens of thousands of people were there. To think that is crazy, and to try to sell it to people is just as crazy. He's done. His brain is fried.
Therefore, he can violate no laws because he is the law. He interprets the law. And not only that, according to Napoleon, apparently that is allegedly a quote from Napoleon, translated from the French, which obviously he does not speak. He is saving the country. And therefore, I mean, from Sleepy Joe, who was out there just running amok over everything because he was so energetic. And he is saving the country. Therefore, he can violate no laws, which is convenient because he is the one who gets to decide whether he's violating any laws. So he's already decided it. We don't need a legal system. We don't need a constitution. It's done. Life is very easy in the world of
nightmare. Conway isn't some random critic. He's a heavyweight attorney who argued and won a landmark Supreme Court case. Trump once wanted him to lead the Justice Department's Civil Division, but Conway walked away, disgusted by Trump's reality show leadership. I filled out the paperwork, did the interviews, then realized I couldn't work for a man who treats the Constitution like a napkin, he admitted. The irony, Conway's wife, Kellyanne, spent years defending Trump's every move on TV. Their marriage became a metaphor for America's political divide. Dinner table debates turned national spectacle. The reverse Midas touch. Conway didn't stop at Trump's personality. He eviscerated his business failures. Casinos that folded faster than a cheap suit, a university that scammed students, and an airline that nosedived. Trump's got a reverse Midas touch, Conway joked. Everything he touched.
What we're seeing now is, as you put it, an implosion. And this, I believe, is what ultimately was always going to happen, the final implosion of Donald Trump. I mean, it's like Hitler, when Hitler was moving around divisions that didn't exist in the last 10 days of the war in the Führer bunker. I mean, he has completely lost it. This post is beyond question delusional, but it was also inevitable, because what's happening here is he realizes he's under more pressure than ever, because he's not just running for the presidency, he's running for his freedom. He's going to go to jail if he does not win the presidency, and he can see that now, and that's why he's doubling down on the unreality. It's partly for self-soothing, partly it's just because he can't help it. He's a pathological liar, being a sociopath, and what we're watching is I mean, we're going to make fun of it because it helps provoke him into self-destruction, which is what the country needs, but it's actually very, very sad. Can't help himself but emotionally react to things. But one of the things that I mean, he's a narcissistic sociopath. That's the thing everyone has to kind of get used to. It's the reason why you cannot normalize him. You cannot treat him like a normal human being. The White House counsel who handled, in the Trump administration, handled the Mueller investigation, went basically on a national television the other day and said, Trump's going to go to jail for this. And he should, and he will, because the obstruction case is just so strong.
You think so? Do you agree with George Conway?
What an irrelevant guy. I mean, I don't even want to address him. I don't see what the basis for his knowledge is. He's just a fluff. You know, he's somebody that goes on Twitter and just talks a lot but has no knowledge.
Think that it will stop him or deter him? Is there any reason why this would impact him actually running?
No.
So legally, no.
Legally, no. I mean, he can run. He could be incarcerated, and he could still run for president. And if he were elected, I think the better legal argument under the Constitution, under Article 1, would be that they'd have to spring him. But I don't think he's going to get elected, but I do think he is going to run. I think he's going to make a big issue out of his legal troubles to say that he is persecuted. He's going to say they're persecuting me. He's already said it, because they want to persecute you. And he's going to say, and if the violence erupts, he's going to say, it wasn't my fault.
If there was any question about the Republican Party, what it is and what it means at this moment.
It's a cult. I mean, that's the only way you can describe it. And everyone has, it consists of basically two groups of people, mostly. Some people who have basically completely lost it. You know, the people we see in the House of Representatives. And then there are people who are basically afraid to...
turns to, well, not gold. Then came the legal bombshells. Conway compared Trump's post-presidency to a reality star past their prime, clinging to relevance by attacking elections and whipping up conspiracy theories. He thinks he's above the law because, in his mind, he is the law. Rules are for peasants. The Lincoln Project. Trolls with a Plan. Conway co-founded the Lincoln Project, a group of ex-Republicans dedicated to sinking Trump's 2020 campaign. Their ads mocked Trump's tantrums and incompetence, driving him into Twitter frenzies. One ad, Morning in America, showed COVID graves and shuttered businesses under Trump's watch. Trump retaliated by calling Conway a deranged loser and Kellyanne's husband from hell. Trump's like a toddler who can't ignore a dare, Conway smirked. We poked.
You're dealing with somebody who's lying constantly. You can't spend all your time fact-checking. What do you do about a scenario like this?
Well, look, I think in 2016, that was a challenge because, again, as I said previously, we had never run against a candidate like Donald Trump before. And so we were spending a lot of time trying to, fact check him and making sure reporters knew that he told 75 lies per speech and then trying to push back on those.
And Donald Trump doesn't care about any of that. He only cares about whether a particular crisis can be used to manipulate manipulate the public. And that's why he's willing to tell
him, and he exploded again and again. The final implosion. Conway saved his harshest critique for Trump's mental state. He's a diagnosed narcissist spiraling into madness, claiming he drew 70,000 people to tiny rallies. That's not spin. It's a man losing grip on reality. He linked Trump's breakdown to his legal woes. He's running for president to stay out of jail. If he loses, he's done. And what about 2024? He'll run, scream about being persecuted, and if violence follows, he'll blame everyone else. Classic Trump. Why this matters. Conway's takedown isn't just gossip, it's a warning. Trump's not a leader, he's a black hole of chaos, he said. Every ally becomes an enemy. Every win becomes a loss. The Republican Party isn't a party anymore, it's a cult. As the segment ended, viewers were left imagining Trump at Mar-a-Lago, rage-tweeting into the void. But Conway's final words lingered. This isn't politics. It's a tragedy. And unless America wakes up, the punchline will be on all of us.